Hello and welcome to Back to the Boardroom. I'm James.
And I'm Greer.
And this week is corporate away days in Turkey.
I'm quite jealous they got to go abroad for this task. I would have liked that. And it looked amazing where they went.
It really did. That view of the balloons, I think,
Yes.
at the start. I can't remember who said it, but someone said it was like a desktop wallpaper. And it really was. It made me jealous.
Definitely made me jealous, but I think that's where the jealousy ended, perhaps, right at the start. I don't think I would have liked to have joined any of their tours.
No, I don't think so. I know I'm not very good with flying, but I think I would have preferred the hot air balloon.
If I was brave enough, I would have loved to have done the hot air balloon, but you wouldn't have been able to get me in the basket. I think I'd have stuck to the long and tedious facts in the 4x4 instead. Otherwise, I'd possibly have ruined that tour for everyone else. I was quite surprised just how many people they crammed into the basket. Anyway, you're like sardines in there as well. So, no, heights, claustrophobia, I'm all good. I'll stay on the ground.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's the main thing I don't like is you can't really direct the balloon, right?
I think that's true, yeah. I think you can possibly vary the height, but very slowly by killing the heat a little. I don't know.
And rely on the currents or something of the wind at certain levels, maybe. I don't know.
That sounds very, very technical.
Exactly. There's a lot of unpredictability, I think, which is why I will avoid it.
Yes. So the task this week, shall we go through what it was before we read out some of our funniest moments? So it was obviously the corporate away day task, which they have every year. And you always know that you're going to get loads of disappointed customers, which makes great television for us. So obviously they're in Turkey and they seem to have the choice of some sort of adventurous things, 4x4 safari, the balloon ride, as we've said, but they also had to provide a team building activity in some form and a 3-course lunch. So again, lots of room to make mistakes.
Absolutely. And I want to start by picking up on the fact that Lord Sugar was called away on an urgent business, of course. But
yes.
He managed to do a pre-record of that in the boardroom. So
Thank you. That is what I've written. Lord Sugar on urgent business, but had time to record a video.
He had his feet up eating breakfast, didn't he?
Of course he did. Maybe he was in Turkey as well, actually on his holiday. Who knows? But yeah, they made poor Baroness Brady go off to the airport and stand there and introduce the task.
And hand out iPads.
Yes. Yeah. So this week we had 2 new faces in the project management chair, 2 people that I guess we've seen a bit of, but we haven't heard that much from them. I think Keir did a rock, paper, scissors sale at one point. But Chizola, I think she's been a bit quiet, so it was nice to see 2 new people take charge.
Chizola did good yodeling, remember?
Yes, that is true.
I think that was maybe the first challenge.
It was the abroad challenge as well, so she's an adventurer.
Indeed.
So there's many top moments this week, obviously, because there were so many different elements to go through for the task. I think one of the ones that made me cringe the most, and I just couldn't watch the TV as it was happening, is when Mia and her team went to try some food from one of the chefs in the local area, and they were tasting it and they didn't like it, but were not shying away from letting their feelings be known to the person that cooked it. They were pulling faces and saying, "Oh no, that's not my taste." I just thought, it's just no, very bad and cringe.
Yeah, not what you want to do, and also not being funny, but they were talking about it's a quite an acquired taste, but they're serving it to locals, so surely they have that acquired taste.
That is true. That is a good point. I didn't think about that. I guess if it's it's not a English cuisine. It's not a traditional English food, is it? So yeah, maybe it didn't matter too much about what they thought of the taste.
Yeah, but definitely a cringeworthy moment, and I think it would have hurt the price negotiation.
definitely. I do have another food moment. Is it's not actually related to the food part of the task, but it's when on the 4x4 team they were going around trying to make a really engaging tour, and Johnny comes in with a brilliant one-liner yet again saying, which do you prefer, green or black olives? And then it was sort of silence, and he just was like, I prefer green, and it was very awkward.
Indeed. And I'll tell you the answer to that. Regardless of being green or red, they need to be pitted.
Oh God, they do. Imagine that dinner couldn't get any worse, and then oh no, wait, there are still stones in the olives.
Yeah, definitely. Continuing with the food theme, they didn't like the herbal tea, but I think the biggest blunder was the wine.
Oh,
What?
I don't know what went wrong there. Why?
What is up with people trying to sell luxury corporate away days and not having any alcohol and thinking water is suitable?
Especially when they went to speak to the client who said that we want luxury, we're going to pay this high price per head for a luxurious experience. And then they came out of it being like, you know what, actually, unlimited water is the way to go. Then they got it up to soft drinks. But then even when they came back after the disastrous tour, which they asked to end early, they were talking about, okay, everyone says on the yacht, we'd like a glass of wine. That's all they've been talking about. They're literally gagging for wine. And then when they were trying to decide, they were like, actually, we're going to put the water out first, to the point where Karen stepped in and was like, are you sure you don't want to give your guests a glass of wine? That's all they've been asking for. How bad has it got to be for either Karen or Tim to step in?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I think actually the most cringe-worthy moment of the whole task was, unfortunately, I have to say, Frederick's team building exercise. What was that? Come on.
I don't know, but what's quite worrying is that his business that he would like Lord Sugar to invest in is sort of an advancement of his own like personal speaking training brand, like teaching people to speak in front of others in a really sort of comfortable way. And if that's one of the team building activities or the ways that he tries to make people at ease by staring into your co-worker's eyes for an extended amount of time, then I don't know if that's going to be a good use of Lord Sugar's money.
I think it needs a rewrite.
It really does. Oh, and you know, last year when we did I think it was the corporate away day again, we had some chanting going on, Sauvignon Blanc. And this year they were trying to get the corporate client who were wanting luxury to shout Boardroom, I think, in the 4x4. What is with the cheering? I've never wanted to cheer anything in my life.
No, I think, to be honest, I think it was a bad idea that Frederick was moved from that team, because I think he could have done a better tour.
I think so, definitely.
And hyped them up a bit more.
Less facts, which Johnny, I guess they keep saying that he's sort of a teacher or a tutor, and yeah, just too dry. Not enough fun, I'm afraid.
Absolutely. I guess my final top moment is the fact that they told the Vodafone employees no phone zone. It's just a bit, it's just funny.
It was just a bit patronising, I thought. I do have to bring up another one because it really infuriated me, is when Mia wouldn't go up and see what the table looked like, because I agree it is a one-person job, but I just cannot believe that the table was set with just a white tablecloth and then spoons laid across it, and that was it. There was no attempt to make anything look nice in like a centerpiece, even if it was, I don't know, putting the jugs and the wine there or something. The wine was left to warm in the sun, but I just couldn't believe it when they came up and said, oh, we've got a lovely table set for you, and it was just a white tablecloth and some spoons. And it was very like Oliver Twist looking.
To quote Mia, I don't think it takes a lot of initiative to lay a table.
I agree.
To be fair, I think Mia had her hands full.
Yeah,
I think she was doing the more important of the two jobs. So maybe we could excuse her for not having enough time.
I think that's fine. And she probably did the best out of everyone in this entire task. They actually said the food was amazing. She sort of got a bit of a round of applause when she came up with extra lamb to give to people, which was a nice touch after sort of someone having things spilt on them at the table was another extra thing that we haven't mentioned.
The managing director of all people.
Exactly. Not good, but it was, made better by the good food. There were so many things we could talk about in this episode. There were just so many moments that I thought, okay, I've got to write that one down.
Yes, chef. So, as you'll all be aware, it's now time for the part of the show where myself and Greer make fools of themselves by pitching something to you, our lovely listeners, and maybe even Lord Sugar himself. So, this week, obviously, it's corporate away day, so we are going to do something of a kind of think of an activity, or maybe an activity and food. It might be quite hard in 30 seconds from the place that has been given to us by our independent adjudicator on these two pieces of paper. They're not assigned, so Greer, as always, will do the honours.
Okay.
Which one
I
you
would
want?
like the one at the front facing the camera.
The one nearest the mic.
Yes. No, the other. No, the one. Wait. Just touch one of them and I'll say yes or no. No. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I love it when the independent adjudicator gets involved because it's fair game. Neither of us know what's going to happen.
Absolutely right. So, if that wasn't apparent, you are starting first. You have 30 seconds, as always.
Yeah.
You can either choose to describe just an activity or an activity and some sort of 3-course meal.
Okay.
I'm going to undo. Ah.
Oh, no.
You got a nice one. I wish I had this one. Okay. Anyway, your country is Spain. You have 30 seconds starting now.
Okay, I feel like for my corporate away day in Spain, you're going to have to do something food related as quite a lot of the day anyway. So perhaps it could be some sort of tasting experience, some wine and some tapas would be really nice. As a team, I don't know if you could get involved in the cooking itself. But also Spain has a lot of history as well. So it might be nice to do a bit of a walking tour in the morning, try out then cooking some of the food, the tapas, and then in the afternoon, obviously having a lot of wine and chat. Okay, there you go.
Sorry, I forgot the timer was running. I was so enthralled by the tapas.
The tapas, you've got to. I don't know how much team building will be done, but if there's food and wine, then some of it will be happening. Okay. James, I'm going to get the timer ready for you. I really hope I've got Spain and then you've got something incredibly random like the Arctic, because that will just make me very happy. Okay, let's get the timer on.
I'm not looking. Don't start. Is that the right way around?
No, it's the other way around. Okay, I have the country. Are you ready? I'm glad I got Spain.
Oh, for goodness sake. Okay,
you might know more about this country than me. So
I'm ready.
Ready? So your country is Bulgaria.
Bulgaria?
Yeah. I'm not lying. You can check the bit of paper.
Bulgaria. Well, I think Bulgaria has a UNESCO World Heritage Site somewhere. So that's what we're going to do for the activity.
Yeah.
Head over to that World Heritage Site, and it's going to be a lot of facts, unfortunately. I don't actually know what Bulgaria is famous for in terms of food, so yeah, it's a bit of a flummox.
Just guess some. I've realised I've put on 30 minutes rather than 30 seconds.
Okay.
But I'll let you pick a food, any food.
Okay, well, we'll get a fried egg on broccoli. I give up.
Wow.
Bulgaria. This independent adjudicator, what is...
Well, look, I got it to 29 minutes, 30 seconds on the timer. I was just so delighted that you had got Bulgaria and I didn't pick that one because, yeah, wow, a bit of a wild card, but fun for us.
Yeah, but I do want to redeem myself.
Yes.
Because I want to check. It's actually just above Turkey, but I think. So I claimed that it has a UNESCO heritage site, and I think it does. It has quite a few. So, but yeah, not fun. I wanted to go with a fun activity, but
That's all right. Beautiful scenery we had. We've come back maybe a bit disappointed with some egg, but
egg on broccoli.
Yeah.
I blanked.
I'm having a quick look at the dishes that are traditional in Bulgaria. Grilled mincemeat rolls, traditional salad with cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, peppers, parsley, roasted pepper salad. Very nice.
I don't think I could have told you anything from. I've just Googled traditional Bulgarian cuisine and Bulgarian schnitzel, shopska salad, pumpkin dessert.
Ooh. That sounds good. So really, this week, if you're going to be voting on who did the best elevator pitch, I feel like you could pick between which experience or food you would like to try the most, but you can also vote for effort because Bulgaria was hard. So as always, let us know over on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom and tell us who won in the comments or the DMs. And at the end of this season of Back to the Boardroom, James and I will find out who has won the entire elevator pitch challenge. Now it's time to go back to the boardroom this week, where I was quite excited to find out who won because they both did bad corporate away days, and I really wanted to find out if anyone had a refund. And you know what? We got some good refund numbers. So I'll just go through them quickly. Tim, he shared that his team, the profit was 1,580 with 0 refunds, which I was surprised about. And then Karen shared that the total profit with a tip was £2,070, which they could have had it in the bag, but actually they wanted a 40% refund, which was so high. I didn't think it would be that much, even though they were really dissatisfied throughout the entire thing. That is a high amount.
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say I told you so, but I really thought Ascendancy would win because I thought the hot air balloon was good. People enjoyed that. The food people enjoyed, apart from some sloppy table arrangements. And then the weaving seemed a good activity, definitely in contrast to the boring tour, the good food but not luxury as promised with a lack of wine, and that motivational exercise.
Yes, I can't believe they actually turned down the sort of traditional dancers. They were just stood there. Oh, okay, we won't be on The Apprentice then. We've told our whole family that we might be starring on the BBC Apprentice. But no, Frederick is going to make people gaze into each other's eyes. So no, you are right. One of them was a lot better than the other. But I guess it relies on just how confident the corporate client is to ask for a refund. I thought they might get some. The managing director might want the dry cleaning bill for his trousers, but no, 0. So yeah, they won, and that is Mia and Max's team. So
yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Very good spot.
One thing I have to bring up about the boardroom this week, Lord Sugar had his phone on and someone was ringing him or something. What was that about?
What was the point of that? Oh, it's the Turkish Prime Minister. It's very odd and unnecessary.
Yeah. Was it a joke? Or like that he left in, but it seemed like he made the joke because his phone went off. So I don't know if that was planned. But
yeah, not sure, but unnecessary.
Very silly, as usual. He wasn't on form this week. That urgent business he must have been very into. Maybe that phone call was to prove there was urgent business.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope he got told off by the production team.
Sorry, Lord Sugar, if you're listening. But yes, I thought it was interesting in the boardroom. Obviously, Chisola was asked who she'd like to bring back, and I was surprised actually that it was Frederick and Johnny. I thought she might bring back, I can never remember her name. Is it Anissa?
Anissa, yes.
Anissa.
Sub-team
so
leader.
I was surprised that Johnny came back actually, but there you go. I think they perhaps saw an opportunity to bring someone back who had shirked the responsibility of being the sub-team leader and then delivered a very dull tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt like there was a possibility that he could be appointed PM for next task, but I think, and I'm kind of glad that Lord Sugar kept with the consistency of if you don't pull your weight, you're for the chopping block, and there we go. I did think I predicted after the 3 came back. I said that there's either going to be a double firing where one is going to be Johnny or Johnny's going to be the next PM, and I was wrong on both counts. There we go.
Yeah, well, it was Johnny's turn to go, and I'm not surprised. I think he was being a bit of a team player really, but you've got to be quite out there and you've got to be assertive in this process because the other people, they are all strong characters and you are about getting your screen time on television and making that mark in the show's history, but also just for Lord Sugar. And even though Johnny was probably right to say, oh, well, actually, don't put me as the sub-team leader because I don't know anything about, working in a kitchen, and one of the other team members knows more, but I just you've got to make your mark, and he really didn't. And there were a few occasions where he seemed to give excuses and be quite defensive and get a bit annoyed sometimes in the boardroom. So yeah, I'm not surprised that Johnny has gone, but I wouldn't have thought it was for this task.
I completely agree. I think he was too much in the shadows, and yes, he stuck himself out for project manager for this task, but he should have just taken the sub-team leader when he was offered it. And, said, I don't know a lot about the food, but I'm happy to lead and help direct someone, I guess.
Yeah, I think he probably would have stayed if he'd taken on that role, to be honest. Even though he didn't get project manager, if he had stepped up, I do think he might have been here, and Frederick could have gone for his disastrous team building instead, or Chisola as the project manager, because the whole time it was complaint after complaint. And I don't know if we've had corporate clients do that before. I was going to say in some of the other years they were quite reserved, and there was tutting and eye rolling, and at the end they made their voice heard through a few, like maybe a comment at the end and the refund number. But this time they were very vocal throughout, and it was really cringe to watch.
Absolutely. But I guess it was good, because if you weren't happy, you would say. And it also gives them an opportunity to hopefully improve for the next part. But yeah, awkward moment, especially with the wine.
Definitely. So James, everybody wants to know, what has the secretary been doing this week? Does she have another chart?
She does, but it's the same chart as a couple of weeks ago. So I think she's not doing a lot of work.
She's on WhatsApp web in another tab, isn't she?
Absolutely.
Well, that's slightly disappointing, but something that wasn't disappointing is the treat. It was actually another decent one.
It was, yes, and I do like a spa day, so I don't know. It looked all right. I am not sure. It's definitely at the top end of the list of the rankings. I think I would just slot it under the afternoon tea, because I thought that was very good. Because it's not just any afternoon tea, it was a really posh one.
Definitely. Is it above the pasta making workshop for you?
It is. Yes.
It is. Okay. Even though it's a Turkish spa with colleagues. I'm weirded out by the colleague side of things.
Yeah, but they're not real colleagues, are they? They're friends-ish.
Are they? Maybe.
But yes, no treat bashing. It was pretty decent. I hope we continue on this upward trajectory, but I'm sure there'll be an odd one here and there. But apart from the treat, I do have a brand watch.
Okay. Is it the obvious one?
Which one?
Which is Vodafone.
No, it wasn't Vodafone. That would be too obvious, and I wouldn't do that to you. It was, I've got potentially two.
Ooh.
One, the first one, and the most notable, was Turkish Airlines on the departure or the baggage boards at Heathrow Airport. Notably saying business class, which they definitely didn't travel in. I'm sure it was economy class. And I thought at the end, and this, I mean, I didn't stop it, so I may be completely wrong, but when they were all sitting in the house, I think Jordan and Amber Rose were wearing like sportswear for some reason.
Yes.
And I thought I recognised Abel. A-B... I can't remember how to spell Abel.
A-B-E-L? Maybe.
Yeah. I thought I recognised that somewhere. But that may be completely wrong. That's my two brand watches for this week. And now, once again, for my favourite part of this show, it's the Apprentice News. And what have you got for us today, Greer?
Well, it's not just me with Apprentice News this week, because we've had a few messages in from some of our listeners letting us know about some developments in the Apprentice world. Now, the first one is quite interesting, actually, and it was from Instagram, on our Instagram feed, at Back to the Boardroom. You can always message us. And this is from Adam. He shared, first of all, that Amber Rose is going to be at the University of Warwick TEDx event, which is applicable for us because James and I both met at the University of Warwick. So it's a little bit of a full circle for us, which I thought was quite fun. The International Women's Day event it is part of at TEDx Warwick on the 8th of March. And the entrepreneur is there going to be talking about how she believes a woman can have it all, success in her career and in her personal life. Also showing her journey, struggles and triumphs, and challenging societal norms. And she looks like she's one of quite a large lineup of women who are going to be there. We've got other people, presenters, fashion designers, content creators, filmmakers. So actually the event looks pretty good. So who knows? They might release it online. Could check it out, could type it in on YouTube and see if it comes up. She'll probably share something on Instagram because Amber Rose is quite active over on Instagram. Another thing that we've seen is that she's partnered with Dell, which you'll like, James, being somebody who always stares at the computer details on The Apprentice.
Yes, indeed.
Amber Rose is obviously making use of her time on the show, getting brand deals, working with Dell UK, and saying that she's designing a new office space with the help of Dell powered by Intel Core Ultra 7 processors, which I thought was quite fun. But I like it when our listeners spot the Apprentice candidates out in the wild on their own Instagram feeds and on social media. So thank you to Adam for that one. And the other one is a little bit different. It's something new from The Apprentice. It's from Tim, and he has shared that there is going to be a celebrity apprentice lineup for the 20th anniversary. And we knew there was going to be something different, didn't we, for the 20th?
I'm not sure how I feel about it. So will this replace... There won't be regular people?
I imagine there still will be regular people for the specific 20th season because they're always asking for people to send in their applications. So I think the normal one's still going to go ahead, but I think it's like an added extra for a big occasion on the series. And I think it might come out later this year because it's 20 years, I think, this year. And then the 20th season will be out next year.
Right,
So we have a bit of a lineup already. I think they're still trying to get some A-listers, according to the article. So the people that we currently have as starring is the JLS singer JB Gill, Big Brother host AJ Adudu, actress Sarah Hadland, who is in Miranda, Rob Rinder, soap actor Jake Wood, who is in EastEnders, comedian Eddie Caddy, Gladiators athlete Matt Morzier, don't know how to say his surname, and who is known as Legend. Sorry, if you're a Gladiator fan, he's Legend. I don't watch it, but that probably makes more sense.
Me neither.
No. Interestingly, Thomas Skinner, who is of Apprentice fame originally, but now turned celebrity and somebody who tweets a lot, Thomas Skinner is coming back for Celebrity Apprentice, which is interesting. The final 4 contestants are Paralympic gold medalist Kadina Cox, BBC Radio 1 DJ Charlie Hedges, comedian Shazia Mirza, and TV presenter Angela Scanlon. So quite a few people. Now, it is also rumoured that the execs are still trying to get an A-lister in. Either Cheryl Tweedy, or Piers Morgan have been named as big names that they'd like to get. I can't see Piers doing it. Can you?
I'd like to see Gordon Ramsay on it.
Oh, I would love to see that. They'd have to beep so many things out. I would watch it. We'd do a whole podcast episode dedicated to that if that happens.
Absolutely. Gordon, if you're listening, apply now.
Do it now, Gordon. So yes, the celebrity version is likely to go out towards the end of 2025, reportedly to air just before the release of the 20th series. So thank you, Tim and Adam, for sending both of the news stories in today, which means I didn't have to spend that much time reading The Sun, which is always good. So now it's time to hear from James about what the previous Apprentice candidates have been up to since leaving the show last year. So who did we have in the firing line last year?
So in the firing line last year on the 6th task, we had Samantha or Sam Sadet, who was a perinatal fitness coach, also known as the Mummy Motivator on socials. And from what it looks like, she has been promoting a lot of things. There's a lot of videos and stuff of her either talking in front of crowds or at events, but also looks to be doing sponsored promotion of certain items like drinks. I don't think it was AG1, but some green health drink it looked like. And also, I believe she started the Mummy Movement podcast, where I guess she gets guests on every episode and I presume talks about all things children.
Nice. So she is using her time in The Apprentice and I guess her increased following to do some brand deals and put herself out there a little bit more. Maybe she'll come back on for a Celebrity Apprentice, much like Thomas Skinner at some point, if she carries on.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. You never know. So hopefully I've summed up that correctly and I haven't made any mistakes. But yes, she's keeping on motivating mamas, in her own words.
So that is everything corporate away day discussed, sorted and done. Thank you again to Tim and Adam for getting in touch with the Apprentice news this week. If you also want to get in touch, you can DM us or comment at Back to the Boardroom on Instagram, as we'd love to hear from you. And also click subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you haven't already. Now, next week, we're going to be back with another episode with a bit of a prediction update, as James was saying earlier, but we're also going to be talking through the candidates' task as they create a new banking app for children. So lots of things that could go wrong there. Now, James, do you have a final thought for us this week?
I do, and it's going to be a personal one. After that absolute disaster of an elevator pitch this week, I need to really up the game for next week. What will it be? Money related? Who knows?
Possibly get researching, get some rest, and then you can come back and fight another day in the elevator pitch.
Absolutely. But until then, see you next time.
Bye.